Good evening, everyone. I'm here again to talk to you on the subject of monarchy, which is what this channel is primarily about. So I'm asking you to please like, share, and subscribe. So I'm going to get into a bit of a light-hearted discussion today because I know that for the past few weeks I've been focusing on the very serious, very topical issue of constitutional change in Jamaica primarily, and to a lesser extent how it's going to influence the rest of the Commonwealth realms. But today I'm going to segue from all of that to talk to another issue that I've been seeing, having been a member of several pro-monarchy forums over the years. And this has to do with the way how royals are seen as little more than celebrities, especially as it relates to certain forms of media which are less focused on serious news and more on the celebrity side of things and the gossip side of things. And anybody who has been following any of these channels or any of these media knows that there is a lot of gossip that is surrounding the royal family, especially now when we have rogue royals such as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex or the Duke of York. And one of the things that they always tend to find is that there are certain persons who aren't necessarily monarchists, but they are fans of the Prince and Princess of Wales, or they are fans of the King, or fans of Princess Anne, or fans of Harry and Meghan. Although I think it's very safe to say that there are no Prince Andrew fans out there. I think I can take that bet and win it. But that's besides the point. Point is, many times when these discussions come up in pro-monarchy circles, they tend to focus more on the personal lives of individual royals. So, for example, in the case of the Sussexes, we have the whole issue with Spear, and everybody know what Spear is, that book that came out, and that was heavily lambasted even in South Park. I don't know who saw the episode, but whoever saw the episode, it was a very grand episode, right? And not only Spear, but also in regards to the Oprah interview, the Netflix documentary, and all the things that they have been doing ever since the infamous Brexit debacle. And then, of course, there's what's happening with the Duke of York and the scandals related to him. And the truth of the matter is, His Majesty the King has a rather difficult time with certain members of his family who are unfortunately doing the royal family a bit of a disservice. And these scandals are not necessarily limited to our royal family alone, but even in other royal families. For example, in Norway, where Princess Martha Louise is slated to marry someone who persons consider to be a charlatan. That's their words, not mine. What I've heard the word used, so I'm not going to get into any discussion as to whether he is or is not. The fact of the matter is a discussion that is out there. And then, of course, what I consider to be a less egregious case, what happened in Japan 2 years ago when the emperor's niece, Princess Mako, Mako, for those who don't get it. Princess Mako married someone who many in the Japanese aristocracy considered unfit to be a member of that imperial family. But to me, it was neither here nor there. But we know these things are out there. And what I really want to zoom in on today, for a little while, not very long, is kind of the differences between a monarchist and a royal watcher. I stated before, over and over again, that I am a constitutional monarchist. And that's exactly what I am. The concerns of royal watchers means very little to me. So I couldn't care less if the Princess of Wales were to wear the same dress to two events. Nor do I necessarily consider it a faux pas if, say, for example, the Duchess of Edinburgh were to, let's say, commit something egregious fashion-wise. That's sort of a silly drivel that royal watchers tend to focus on, because they tend to focus on these things a lot. As a monarchist, that is neither here nor there for me. And the reason why I must state this is because at the launch of the Constitutional Reform Committee, I'm bringing it home to Jamaica now, one particular member stated that, he cannot support the royal family because they are quote unquote a dysfunctional family. Me, I'm not even going to get into too much of that discussion, because the truth is, all families have their issues. It's just that they happen to be a higher profile family than most other families. This is hardly the first time there has been an scandal in the royal house caused by rogue members of the family. We all know, let me not say we all know, but persons who have been following know some of the stories. Like, for example, the whole thing with Diana in the 1990s, or whatever Princess Margaret used to get up to. And of course, the grandmother of all scandals, the abdication crisis of 1936. We know these things. But with the exception of the abdication crisis, none of the other things had anything to do with the whole principle of constitutional monarchy. Those are just personal matters. And the fact of the matter is, politicians also have them, and even presidents have them. The difference is that the royal family just happens to have a higher profile. That is the only real difference, the higher profile. So, as it relates to how do you distinguish between a royal watcher and an actual monarchist, the question is, what is their view on a monarch's role in the state? For example, as a monarchist, I believe that every monarchy that is overthrown should be brought back. Other persons who are fans of individual royals, they don't believe that. Take, for example, there are many Americans who are fans either of the Sussexes or of the Waleses. However, if you ask them how many of them would accept King Charles as their head of state, a lot of them would say, you know what, let us keep our presidential system. You know why? They're royal watchers, but they are not monarchists. On the other hand, there are many persons who are monarchists who cannot tell you if the Princess of Wales is wearing an Alexander McQueen design or another design. I personally couldn't tell, and I personally don't exactly care. What I care about is the fact that, monarchy has been proven to be the most stable system of government that has ever been invented. And I mean specifically constitutional monarchy, where there is a balance of power between the hereditary sovereign and elected representatives. And we see the statistics and we know this is proven. And the reason why this is important is because I once had a discussion regarding some of the most stable democracies in the world. And I was pointing out that many of these stable democracies are monarchies. And somebody pointed me that many of these countries are also socialist countries. Therefore, the monarchy doesn't have anything to do with it. And of course, I took issue with that because the truth of the matter is that what he's trying to say is that if they have a socialist system, then they don't need a monarchy. But what the statistics actually prove is that monarchy itself is not a barrier to socialism. Furthermore, the system of constitutional monarchy also ensures that we have a head of state that is above all politics. Republicans will tell you that in a parliamentary republic, the president is above politics. But I already explained in a previous video that this is not necessarily the case. Royal watchers, on the other hand, don't necessarily look out for things like that. And I'll give you an example from the coronation to illustrate to you the real difference between a monarchist and a royal watcher. A royal watcher, their primary focus is on the aesthetic of the coronation, how it looks, what the royals were dressed in, what the foreign royals were dressed in, and that sort of a thing, the pomp and the pageantry. And don't get me wrong, pomp and pageantry, all monarchists are for pomp and pageantry. We love it. It's one of the things that we love about monarchy. And let me just say, nobody does pageantry like our royal family. Let's be clear. So that would be what a royal watcher will focus on. A monarchist, on the other hand, will be focusing on the pomp and the pageantry, yes, but we also look at the whole constitutional significance of such an event and the fact that this is really the beginning of a new era for all the realms. And of course, we'll be breaking down that side of what the coronation is about. So yes, while it is possible for someone to be both a royal watcher and a monarchist, it does not necessarily follow that all royal watchers are monarchists. I'll give an example. I was watching an interview, I don't remember, I believe it was on Fox News. I was watching it, and I don't know who knows the personality by the name of Ann Coulter, who is one of the persons who is among the right-leaning persons in the American political scene. And one of the things that she said is that, she really enjoys the way how the Brits do spectacle. But at the end of the day, she would not necessarily want that in her country. She likes seeing it, but that's just about it. And that is a key fundamental difference between a monarchist and a royal watcher. Again, let me state, it is possible for someone to be both, but it doesn't necessarily follow that just because you are one, then you are the other. Take for example, there are many persons who are fans of Harry and Meghan, although I think it's safe to say that their fan base has declined somewhat. But many of those same persons who are fans of the Sussexes really and truly have a vested interest in seeing the monarchy fall. Are they royal watchers? Sure. Are they monarchists? Are they royalists? Absolutely not. So this is just my 2 cents on a very, I won't necessarily say topical issue, but it's an issue in pro-monarchy circle nonetheless that I feel the need to shed some light on.